Greetings gamers, it's I, Frost Gamer, coming to you for Death Battle Reactions, or just my plain reaction series. Should probably get that a title or something. Anyway, yesterday it was the death battle between in PlayStation mascots. So now, the next battle coming up. And me working to keep up. How the death battle is. Yes. Sora versus Pit. Now this is about what was that I said again? Oh yeah. The pure of heart versus is the Heaven's Kid. Kid Heaven. Oh. Well, you know what I mean. It'll be one interesting battle. See who claims top blade here. I have a feeling Sora has the more advantage. Though with Pit having wings and more heaven and on his side, it's gonna go either way. Yeah, at this point. So, what's the best way to find out? We play and watch. Hey, girl. Oh, for the love of... Can I get rid of...
Right by you mean servicing our customer.
What did you say? So I'm gonna have to figure
This episode of Death Battle is brought to you by War Robots, the tactical
Started.
6v6
Yeah,
multiplayer game for iOS, Android, and Fire OS.
The game's like if Wiz's love for science and my love for weapons had a baby, wrapped in rich 3D graphics. My favorite bot is Griffin.
Pick up the game and see if you can take us down.
Install War Robots now and get a huge starter pack of the Leo Robot, 1 Kang weapon, 3 Molot weapons, 100 gold, and 400,000 silver.
Take on Wisdom Boomstick. Hey guys, if I beat you, will you use one of my death battles?
If the fate of the universe is at stake, the last person you should trust to save it is a naive teenager with magical weapons they don't understand. But everybody does it anyway.
Like Sora, the Keyblade-wielding savior of Kingdom Hearts.
And Pit, the angel warrior from Kid Icarus.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Right now. Well, probably.
Once upon a time, there was a small child full of promise named Sora.
And he lived on the one and only Destiny Island. Sora and his friends Riku and Kairi grew up honing their athletic skills by playing sports with Final Fantasy characters who don't judge Sora's fashion choices. Wait a minute, what the hell are Final Fantasy characters doing there?
A hint of things to come. For the longest time, the residents of Destiny Island lived a peaceful life, but it wasn't long until a soulless embodiment of evil would invade the island. This was the Heartless.
But the arrival of these creepy crawlers wasn't the only surprise. Alongside the darkness came light in the form of a Keyblade, which is the key to fixing everything. Super subtle.
This Keyblade in particular was known as the Kingdom Key, and was drawn to Sora thanks to his pure heart. With the Kingdom Key, Sora had the means to combat the Heartless.
By unlocking doors?
Well, yes, the Keyblade can get past almost any lock out there, but despite not having a long, sharp edge, it's a surprisingly deadly sword.
Cool.
It's a key, it's a sword, and it's also a wand. Sora can use it to cast all sorts of magic spells like a wizard. He can even shoot a laser beam all the way to the moon.
Unfortunately, despite his newfound weapon, the Heartless were overwhelming. The darkness washed over Destiny Island, and just like that, it was gone.
But thanks to cosmic reasons, Sora wound up face to face with Goofy and Donald Duck. Yep, he ended up in the most magical place on Earth, Disney.
If you're confused, don't worry. You are not hallucinating. Somehow, in some way, this impossibility exists. Turns out, while Goofy and Donald have been lovable cartoons for decades, they're also world-hopping warriors.
Oh my god, this is the best thing ever!
From then on, Sora teamed up with his new friends to lock the doors to the Hearts of Worlds, saving them from the Heartless grip.
And he wasn't even old enough to get a driver's license.
While Sora may not have been strong enough to save Destiny Island, he quickly learned an enormous amount of
You know, they
talents
can't
perfect
brag
for
later
beating
on.
back the darkness.
Including some genuine ass-kicking magic, like shooting fireballs, freezing baddies with blizzards, smiting with lightning, and more.
He can reflect projectiles, manipulate time, magnetize objects, and even alter gravity.
He's got a bunch of other magic attacks, but my favorite is Ragnarok, which fires a bunch of homing energy beams. And I guess he's got some magic abilities that don't involve beating monsters up, which I think is pretty lame, but Quiz insists we talk about it.
Thanks to
Healing?
the Kingdom Key sword, he can use spells which remove negative effects, including curing his own wounds. He can also glide like Peter Pan and teleport like Figment.
Still don't know if we should call it a sword, but Sora can make it even better with keychains. They can even transform the whole Keyblade into more powerful versions with way more badass names, like Oathkeeper.
With all these abilities, Sora battled the Heartless and took the fight to the man who discovered them, Xehanort. He even defeated Xehanort's Heartless and his Nobody.
Oh, that's kind of harsh, Wiz. Why are you calling him a nobody? He's definitely somebody.
Nobody's
No,
are.
see, a nobody is a somebody without a heart, but a heartless isn't a somebody or a nobody, though they may have been a somebody filled with anger, like Scar from The Lion King.
Well, I'm a somebody that's really confused.
But to save all worlds, Sora found
Yeah,
he
my
had to be
brain's
insanely
kinda
strong,
soft right now.
fast, and tough.
He's speedy enough to run up a building and quick enough to dodge magic lightning.
Not just magic lightning, real legitimate lightning from the sky, a feat which could only take mere milliseconds.
Sora put all that speed
Yeah.
to good use once by perfectly blocking hundreds of lasers from damn near every
Why was
angle
he-
in
why
just a
was he
few
talking
seconds.
like-
So it's safe to
Believe me.
say he's no slouch.
As for his strength, not only has he cut through giant building-like structures with ease, he's launched them as projectiles. Though gravity is in flux here, a building this size normally weighs around 100,000 pounds.
He's held back 2 of Cerberus's heads and went toe-to-toe with Hercules. You know, the demigod who threw a giant rock monster into space.
Although this Titan's shape is too inconsistent to scale, by treating him as a series of cones made of granite, we can estimate his weight as over 1,600 tons.
That's like throwing 200 T-Rexes into the sky.
Wow.
So, yeah, Herc is really strong. And
Yeah.
Sora can take a hit from him, no problem.
Honestly, Sora's ability to take a hit might be one of his strongest characteristics. He's survived the jaws of Cerberus, ancient Chinese dragons, being shot by a musket, and, hell, the fires of Hades.
But he isn't without his downfalls. While he's strong in his own right, he relies a lot on his friends. Like, all the goddamn time.
He can't even enter his fancy drive forms, which boost his power and give him an extra Keyblade, without help from Goofy and Donald. So in a broad scope, he's fairly limited on his own.
No big deal, though. Luckily for Sora, most
Great
locks
power
only
is a
need
friendship.
one key.
Uh-huh. I'm not sure if that was profound, or just stupid.
You're stupid.
The heart may be weak, and sometimes it may even give in. But I've learned
Mickey Mouse is famous.
that deep down there's a light
Keyblade
that
actually
never goes
sucks in
out.
most series.
Let us
Nothing
return
but
to the
fun.
distant past,
Hey.
to an age long
Hey.
ago,
Hey,
when
Bradley,
gods
too.
and man
Hey,
lived together in harmony.
How long ago was this?
25 years ago.
What?
Anyway, the kingdom of Angel Land was ruled by 2 goddesses. Palutena, the goddess of light, and Medusa, the goddess of darkness.
Who pretty much treated everyone like crap by turning people into statues and destroying their crops.
My cabbages!
Thanks.
But hey, what'd you expect from a being who holds the title Goddess of Darkness? She's just doing her
Originally,
job.
Medusa
Angered by
title
these
is more of
misdeeds,
the
Palutena
monster
transformed
or
Medusa into an ugly, one-eyed, parcel-tongued monster
Yeah.
and banished her to the dark underworld.
Talk about throwing shade. Long story short, Medusa waged war with Palutena, who summoned the greatest hero Angel Land has ever known. Pit.
My arrows will stop that Apricus Maximus.
No, definitely not that one. This one.
Hang on. Greatest hero ever? More like his mom needs to drop him off at elementary school.
Don't let looks fool you. Pitt may seem young, but he is the captain of the Icarus Army, keepers of peace and personal guards to Lady Palutena herself.
Wait, you're telling me this Cupid-looking kid is the captain of an army? Well, at least he can fly with those wings. Alright, that's pretty cool.
Actually, he can't.
What? Look, he's flying right there.
Well, Pitt may have superhuman abilities, but he can't actually fly on his own. Thankfully, Palutena regularly grants him mystic wings which do allow flight, though they can only exist for up to 5 minutes. After that, they burst into flame, sending Pit careening to a horrible end.
Holy shit! So the captain of an angel army doesn't have his own working angel wings. That's what you're telling me?
Yeah, it's a little strange, but don't try to bring it up. He's a bit touchy on the subject.
Anyway, Pit managed to defeat Medusa, and everyone lived happily ever after. Just kidding, Medusa came back 25 years later, looking better than ever, by the way. And this time, Hades came along to mess things up, too.
As captain of the Icarus army, Pit has some extensive training under his belt. How else would all these soldiers save Palutena from a sudden invasion of... vegetables?
Right. But what's a soldier
Yeah,
without his
there's a
weapons?
lot of crazy
Pit's got
stuff
a huge arsenal of weaponry.
with that.
He's well known for his archery skills and shows it off with his
Hey, that's
trusty
gross.
weapon of choice, the
Gold
Palutena
one,
bow.
or-
This bow
or
uses
first person.
awesome laser arrows that can actually be guided by Pit. And if his enemies get close, Pit can split the bow into 2 short blades for quick, deadly slices. Now that's a practical weapon.
He is highly
Indeed.
skilled with several classes of weapons. His arsenal has been imbued with the strength and power of the gods, making humans incapable of wielding them.
These range from orbitars, like floaty shoulder cannons that can also block attacks, to blades, cannons, claws, hammers, staves, clubs, and weaponized tattoos. Ah, I wish my tattoo was a weapon. Anyway, all of these weapons were forged by Mentos, the god of forge.
Dintos.
Dintos, the fresh maker. And the guy who also crafted Pit's ultimate weapons, the 3 sacred treasures.
Hidden away in 3 sealed caskets, the sacred treasures consist of Angel Land's mightiest weapons, which can only be used by the most heroic and worthy of heroes.
The mirror shield reflects projectiles. The wings of Pegasus give Pit unrestricted flight and improved speed. And the arrow of light is the ultimate weapon of the gods that can murder basically anything.
The Arrow of Light is
Hey, what's this
absolutely
up?
the
Flight
deadliest
arrow.
weapon in Pit's
that
arsenal,
kills
and
Karen.
increases in power based on Pit's own health and strength. And when all 3 treasures come together, Pit is granted the legendary Silver Armor.
You tapping into my stash of booze, Wiz? That's not silver, it's gold.
Well, colors are different in heaven, I guess.
Well, Pit's learned several abilities throughout his adventures, like healing, dropping mines, and making his arrows invisible. And all of his skills came in handy. Not only did he defeat Medusa, but he's taken on alien pirates, a space kraken, and the god of death, Thanatos.
At one point when Thanatos
What?
attacked a village, he launched a large boulder which Pit obliterated so thoroughly it was completely pulverized in mid-air.
Wait a minute. How are those Trojan horse Star Wars walkie thingies not tipping over?
Focus, Boomstick. Pulverization is defined as reducing an object to dust, which certainly applies here. To determine the force necessary to do so, we first need the size of that boulder. For that, we'll compare the boulder to those pillars.
Oh, here comes the math. Strap on your pocket protectors, nerds.
Thanatos,
my
when
brain's
standing near the
starting to
pit,
hurt.
appears to be about 11 feet 6 inches tall. By comparing his height to the pillars, we've determined them to be 18 feet tall. By comparing that to the boulder, it's clear it has a diameter of 115 inches. To pulverize a stone this large, Pit's strike must have outputted energy equal to nearly 1,600 pounds of TNT.
Damn, little angel kid can dish it out.
Pit's also
Yep.
incredibly quick. He was able to maneuver,
Okay,
react,
starting to
and
see
fly
why
from the top of
I
these
people
clouds
want him
to
to
the
fight
lunar
Sora.
sanctum in less than 40 seconds. Despite looking like one, that's no moon. It's a space station, orbiting the Earth at a similar altitude to the International Space Station. The average distance from the ISS to the highest cloud layers is about 242 miles, meaning Pit must have flown around 21,600 miles per hour.
That's Mach 28. Suck it, Starman.
Not only that, Pit dodged a laser which covered this distance in a fraction of a second, most likely moving a little over 90 million miles per hour.
Oh my god, that not-moon thing really is the Death Star.
With Pit's superhuman
Yeah.
durability, he's tanked hits from gods and taken falls that would turn any normal man into,
An angel?
well, a dead man, yes. In his final
Yeah.
duel with Hades, the god of the underworld, Pit took a devastating blow that sent him plummeting at least 2,000 feet. Given Pit's weight, the impact of that fall would be over 8 tons of force.
And he was fine. This Hades guy can cut through giant diamond spires, so a hit from him could be as powerful as nearly 30 tons of TNT.
Of course, while Pit may be formidable, he's not perfect. He has been tricked into losing fights multiple times, and often relies on assistance from his godly allies.
But this kick-ass angel isn't afraid to charge headfirst into a fight, even with his wings on fire.
In the name of the goddess Palatena, the defender of all that is good, those who hide in the darkness have been made to face the light.
All right, the combatants are
Okay,
set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
But first, all this talk about slicing vegetables has got me craving some heavenly food.
Oh no. Okay, minus the stupid food commercials. Wow, did we learn some interesting stuff with these guys? Now, note everybody, this is before Kingdom Hearts 3 showing up, so we don't know the feats Haze will come behind, and the same for Sora. So they were kind of limited for now. But for now, so far, it definitely looks to be that both characters are equally strong and fast. So it's going to be a teeny bit tricky to see who would win this fight. It looks to be a Pit side so far, but we won't know until
it's time for a death battle!
after. So let's see how this plays out.
Yahweh! Go get him, pal! What he said?
So, whose rear am I kicking this time?
Sorry to keep you waiting.
This is the first time something sounds better. I will try. Oh, I get it. Arena battle. Usually, I don't know what too much of a song, so.
Take this! Fire! Whoa! Ha! I've seen candles that are scarier than you.
Ooh!
Let's take this to the next level!
That gotta hurt. That's also gotta hurt. Ooh! Ow! Ow! Oh, man. That's gonna sting. Sora, you might want to use healing potion. And the shield! Wait, those are homing, right? Oh no. Cross smash.
Whoa! You can teleport? Mind blown!
Let's see what you think of this!
Okay, what about Floyd? Floyd?
Close shave!
Sora's fast feet. Nice. Oh, again with the uppercuts? Oh my goodness. Stop. Whoa. Oh no. 2 armor.
Time to end this! You said it!
Huh? Oh! Direct hit! Jesus!
Boy, Sora!
KO!
have had the advantage in flight and experience, but he couldn't beat Sora's strength, toughness, and speed.
Pit may have dodged a laser moving 90 million miles per hour, but Sora's reaction speed was quick enough to dodge natural lightning. A lightning bolt's return stroke, which constitutes the bright flash, moves at around 220 million miles per hour, over twice as fast as Pit's.
That, combined with his teleporting and time manipulation powers, meant Sora was just too quick for Pit to land very many big hits. Plus, when Sora shot that Keyblade beam to the moon, it took 1 second flat.
That's 1.28 times the speed of light, much faster than anything Pit's reacted to before. Of course, Pit did have enough weapons to keep Sora busy, but Sora's impressive and wide-ranging magical arsenal provided multiple counters for pretty much anything Pit threw at him,
Even without
including superior
Pete
healing
Donald or
techniques.
any other
Remember
Disney
that
hero.
building Sora cut through?
You know?
Slicing it up like Swiss cheese was impressive enough, but this building was completely made of stone from top to bottom, and Sora cut through 7 at once.
These buildings may have been composed of a modest stone like granite, which has a minimum shearing strength of 14 megapascals. In comparison to Sora's height, each building was about 23 feet tall. By measuring Sora's largest slash and the distance cut through all 7 buildings, we can determine Sora's striking energy to equal, at minimum, 78 tons of TNT.
That's way more than Pit's boulder pulverizing feat.
Okay.
No wonder this
I
guy
guess
beat her.
Sora's so...
Speaking of which, let's compare some of the strongest beings Sora and Pit have taken hits from. The amount of energy needed for Hercules to throw that rock titan into space had to have been around 24 megatons of TNT.
That's true.
Whereas Hades' strikes were equivalent to only 30 tons at best.
So Pit had never survived anything close to Sora's strongest attacks. Just by numbers alone, Sora's strength, speed, and durability just outclassed Pit. And the Keyblade by itself had a way more impressive track record than any of Pit's weapons. You might say it was the key to this fight. And when we pit them together, one of them was bound to be a Sora loser.
The winner
Seriously?
is Sora.
3 puns in a row?
Thanks for watching. Check out the exclusive commentary on this episode by clicking the box right over there. And thanks to
Go
Gaming
Sora!
for use their sprites in this battle. You can check out
Way
the
to give
latest game
Disney
and
the
the music
win.
used in the battle in the links
Or
in the description.
Final Fantasy? Both? Whoa. Oh yeah. Undead. It's Slayers. Or the zombie killers? Or either way. Hey, next death battle is Frank West versus Leon. On Kennedy. Didn't think his name was Kennedy.